really sucked for Montour. So you know he's going to be motivated to get on a team that's pushing for a. They're in the playoffs. They're going to push for a Stanley Cup. We hope. He fits well with what Florida's trying to do. He can hang on to the puck. He can push the pace. He's a strong skater, which is something that you're seeing across the board with Florida's defensemen. They got some strong, talented skaters, whether it's Mackenzie Weegar, Gus Forsling, even Radko Gudas is good on his feet. And Montour looked fine. He didn't stand out for any of the wrong reasons in his first game with the Panthers, which is really, that's fine with the defenseman. He got a little bit physical. We're going to talk about how the new guys impacted that game with Tampa in a minute. But continuing through the trade deadline weekend, Nikita Gusev signing, this raised my eyebrows. It excites me because I saw what Gusev could do when he was in the KHL, when he was an MVP, when he led that league in scoring. I saw firsthand how good he could be. But he's not a flashy guy. And if you're expecting this guy to come in and set the world on fire with crazy moves and dangles and rips and this and that, he's one of the least flashy scorers. That in that sense, it's almost like John Tavares. And you think of John Tavares, you're like, oh my God, this guy is so good. He's amazing. He puts up all these points. He does, but he's not a very flashy player at all. He's a right time, right place in the right time kind of guy. He knows where to be. He knows where his teammates are going to be. And the points pile up. And that's what Gusev had done in the KHL. He did the second half of last season with the New Jersey Devils. I don't know if it's going to translate in Florida. One game is certainly not enough to judge that on. But he's somebody I'm going to be watching very closely over the next couple of weeks because the potential is there for him to be a huge contributor on this team. Is it going to materialize? I do not know. I like that Joel Quenneville put him off the bat on the first line with Barkov and Marchment. I like that he got power play time in the top power play. I would like to see that continue for a few games. And we'll see where that rolls. But I'm bullish on the Gusev signing. I'm cautiously optimistic, just because I know what the ceiling could be. I'm not out here expecting the world. I'll be disappointed if it doesn't reach a certain point, but it's a good move, especially getting him at a prorated $1 million deal. I mean, the Panthers lucked out in that department because Gusev, he's not from South Florida, but he's lived in South Florida recently after he came over to North America. He, his wife, and his children have a place down here, and it just made a lot of sense. So Florida lucked out in that regard. And, hey, if it works out, there's no reason to think he won't be open to a deal in the offseason, and you think that'd be something the Panthers would be interested in as well. Let's see how things work out. And then the big move on the deadline for the Panthers, the one move that they made on the actual trade deadline Monday was getting Sam Bennett from the Calgary Flames. That was a pretty interesting deal. It gives Florida another guy who can play anywhere. It's center, wing, left, right, doesn't matter. He's done it all. A very versatile guy. A great mix of grit and skill with Sam Bennett. That's the kind of playoff concoction that you like. A guy who's certainly not afraid to get in the corners, throw the elbows, do all that good stuff. But he also has some hands. He has some dangles, and he's got a pretty underrated shot, in my opinion. A snappy wrister. And he's a guy who takes his game to the next level in the playoffs. A guy that is known as a playoff performer. I believe it's 19 points in 30 games. And look, that's what you want to see. And he's still just 24 years old. Still, his best hockey is still ahead of him, you would think, at 24. So Sam Bennett will hopefully make his Panthers debut today. We'll find out from Coach Q in about 90 minutes. The Panthers are scheduled for a 11:30 a.m. morning skate. Q will jump on the Zoom after that, and we will find out if number 9, Sam Bennett, will be in the lineup today. The former 4th overall pick from the 2014 NHL draft, the same draft that the Panthers took Aaron Ekblad 1st overall. And let's take a moment and just think of Aaron Ekblad and hope that his leg is healing up nicely. That was for you, Aaron. All right, moving on. Thursday's game against Tampa, another solid effort against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Another game where Florida was the best 5-on-5 team on the ice by far. Florida outshot Tampa like 2-1 in the game. Vasilevskiy, Andrei Vasilevskiy, the goaltender for Tampa, just makes the difference again and again. He's really carried Tampa this year, which the Lightning have not been the same team that they were last year or the year before in the regular season. And look, you've been without Nikita Kucherov all season. Stamkos has been in and out of the lineup. I think that Vasilevskiy is, I mean, sure, he's a Vezina finalist. That's given. But he's starting to work his way into the Hart Trophy conversation, along with the likes of Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Leon Draisaitl. It's pretty impressive what this guy's been doing. From the new guys, the new Panthers in that game, Montour, as I said, he looked good. He paired up with Marcus Nutrivara. That was the best game, I think, Nutrivara had all year. So give that another notch to Montour as well. He helped bring out of Nutrivara more than we'd seen. Perhaps he's the best pairing that Nutrivara's had in Montour. But either way, 4 shots on goal. Active, talking about Nutrivara. So I'm hoping that they're paired up again today, just because of how good they looked and how comfortable they looked. Montour, he finished the game +2. As I mentioned, he was physical. His assignments were really on point in the defensive end, which is what you want to see in a first game. It's about as solid as you could ask for. So that'll be nice moving forward. Nikita Gusev in that game had 3 shots on goal. He showed his hands. He has got some good hands. I thought he could skate a little harder. Now, granted, it was his first game, so he probably wanted to make sure that he wasn't getting out of position, that he was where he was supposed to be. So the tentative, I can get that. But I would like to see him push it a little bit more today. I'd like to see him just dig in a little bit more. He's got a little bit more speed and a little bit more, what's the word? I don't know, just ability to kind of get in there and get his nose dirty. And he didn't really see that as much. And again, first game, I'm not going to jump on his back for that, but I would like to see more of that today and then as we get back into the homestand. Lucas Wallmark, I mean, look, you put him right on that second line with Jonathan Huberdeau. You had Anthony Duclair, so a lot of skill on that line. And where Wallmark really jumped out for me was his play in his own end. You saw Huberdeau and Duclair get some offensive opportunities on the rush on plays that started in their own end. Wallmark was very solid in that regard. He broke up a couple of plays, had a nice shot block early in the game. So it was really a lot of optimism from the new Panthers, and you would expect that to only continue as they get a little bit better acclimated with their new team. And before we hit the break in a moment, I do want to mention, as I said before, Matt Tearstead. He came out looking great. The guy that they signed out of North Dakota, the college star, played his first 5 games and really looked like he was fitting in nicely. I mean, you don't really see that from a defenseman making their NHL debut, let alone somebody that's, straight out of college. Moved the puck well, had a physical element. We knew all that stuff. He jumped into the play nicely. He was smart. But it did appear he started to get lost in the shuffle his last couple of games. You wonder, after playing, the entire NCAA season and then going into the playoffs, into the tournament, perhaps he's hitting that rookie wall that you hear guys here because they're not used to playing so many games. So Q, we've seen him do this with the young guys to keep them fresh and motivated moving in and out of the lineup. You've seen him do it with Owen Tippett. You've seen him do it with Juho Lemiko. More recently, he's done it with Eetu Luostarinen. So I'm for that. You keep the guy fresh. You keep him in and out of the lineup. You keep him a little bit more hungry to get back in there as well. So am I overly concerned about Matt Tearstead? No, not at all. I think a couple of games off here or there will be good for him. We've seen that he's got a lot of talent and that he's going to fit in nicely. So, I wouldn't be too concerned with that. He would probably get back into the lineup sometime in the next couple of games. All right, we're going to hit the break now. On the other side, Florida Panthers radio analyst Bill Lindsay will join the show, and that'll be coming up just after the break. Saturdays from 1 to 3 p.m., baseball fans can go deep into the count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. Catch the show that talks Marlins and all the big stories from the major leagues every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. Steamheads have a new home. Listen to Deep in the Count exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
When you want local sports, 1260 WLESPN.
We're live and local.
Yes, what she said.
Well, it's what they wrote.
Look at it this way, honey.
Oh, no, here we go.
At some point, this was all live, and wherever it came from, it was local there.
You get that look whenever you stretch the truth or when you need your laxative.
Ain't it awful?
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Florida Panthers insider David Dwork.
You can now listen to Onside Radio anywhere and subscribe to your favorite podcast by downloading the Radio.net app. Download Radio.net in your app store. Search Onside Radio, where the South Florida sports fan calls home. We are moseying along here as it's 10:22 on another beautiful Saturday morning, and we're going to continue this Panthers conversation with a good friend of the show, good friend of mine, and one of the best original Panthers out there, Bill Lindsay, joining the show this morning. Bill, good morning. How are you today? We'll get Bill on in 1 second. Bill, you there?
Yeah. Good morning, David. How you doing? Everything good?
All good, my friend. How's life in the fast lane?
Yeah, things are good. Yeah, I just got back to warm South Florida from New Jersey. It's nice to be back in the sunshine for a little bit. For sure, got off that plane just about an hour ago, so feeling good to be back in the warm weather. Get ready for tonight's big matchup with Tampa.
Yes, it will be. They've all been good with Tampa. I will say, compared to past years, I think Florida's matched up really well with Tampa this year. They've played them, I think, better than they played Carolina, to be honest. A couple of bad bounces maybe, but overall, Florida's really matched up pretty well with their cross-state rival, would you say?
They do well against, they've played Tampa Bay very well. And the games that they've been able to, they doubled the shots last time, even though they lost in overtime, but it was a good effort throughout. And this Panther team is deep. They roll 4 lines, and they can give anyone fits. And even the Carolina games, they've lost some games, but the games, for the most part, have been close all the way through. So the Panther team, it's been a little bit of a struggle of late, but 56 games, a lot of games were condensed, and you find yourselves playing a lot of hockey in a short amount of time. So someday your legs aren't going to be there, and it's not always going to be perfect. But this Panther team, with its hot start, put itself in a good position.
Yeah, and they're wrapping up probably the longest road trip, I believe, of the year, because they've been gone for over 2 weeks now. They'll finally get back probably late tonight. But yeah, I mean, you would know. You've played the game for many, many years, so you would understand that when the games pile up like this, it can be a wear and tear on the guys. And to Q's credit, he's done a good job, I think, of keeping the players fresh, moving guys in and out of the lineup as best he can. But I'm sure they're looking forward to getting home, sleeping in their own beds, and that'll be a nice little refresher for them as well.
It will. Hopefully they can finish it off with a win in Tampa Bay. But it's tough, this schedule, the way that it is, and playing during an 82-game schedule where it's spaced out a little bit. I know that I felt fatigued some games, but they're playing 4 games in 7 weeks. That's just a mind-boggling task you're asking of these athletes. And the Panthers, once everyone gets into the playoffs, everyone's going to be on equal rest. Then it's going to be you're going to see the best from everyone. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But this Panther team has done, like you said, with Joe Quenneville, using the taxi squad, using all kinds of different bodies, getting Bennett at the deadline, getting Gusev, Montour to add depth. So it's a team that's got a lot of options and a lot of rotations they can use with their forward lines and their defensive lines.
You did mention the trade deadline additions, which is the next thing I wanted to ask you about. And the first guy that I wanted to get your take on is Brandon Montour. Maybe a little bit of an under-the-radar signing, because I think some of the bigger names were the ones that people were focusing on. But I think Brandon Montour actually fits what the Panthers are trying to do really well, in that he's a puck-moving defenseman. He's not afraid to hang on to the puck, which is a big thing in Coach Q systems. So I think that was actually a pretty astute move by Bill Zito. But what's your take on it?
You had to find someone to fill the Aaron Ekblad hole. And Montour is not Aaron Ekblad, but he's a very capable defenseman, very solid in his own end, can skate well, can score some goals, can contribute, can play against the other team's top lines, can play in that 20, 25-minute range. He can handle a heavy workload. So he's a really solid defenseman. And if you're looking for someone to replace Ekblad that was out there on the trade deadline, Brandon Montour was probably one of the top defensemen that would fit that bill and come into South Florida and be able to kind of fill that void that Aaron Ekblad has left there with that injury. So I like the pickup of Montour. It's critically important to have depth at the defensive position. I believe he provides that. And I just like the way that this group's rounded out. And I like Bill Zito, the way that he was aggressive in the offseason with all the additions, and he was aggressive at the trade deadline. So it really shows that this team wants to move forward quickly, and they believe that they got a chance to make some waves in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Now, a guy that they brought in that can probably help in that department quite a bit, because he's done it already in his career, is Sam Bennett. Former 4th overall pick, so you obviously know that he's got plenty of skill that he can add. But this is a guy that he's not afraid to get dirty in the corners. He's shown throughout his career that he's a gritty guy, and he takes his game to the next level in the playoffs, and that's the perfect kind of trade deadline addition. Am I right?
11 goals, 19 points in 30 games in the playoffs, so he's been good. His regular season numbers haven't been there. Sam Bennett never really got a chance as a top 6 forward, a full-time in a top 6 forward role in Calgary. And for a 4th overall pick, you'd expect that you would get that opportunity, and that's the main reason Sam Bennett wasn't happy in Calgary. We'll see where he gets slotted, but with the injury to Verhaeghe, there's a good chance he gets put with Barkov right away. I wouldn't be surprised to see him put with Barkov right away, to see what he can do and what his talents are. And we all know what the ability of Barkov to elevate the play of others around him. So it would be a wise decision, I believe, to put him up there with Barkov and see what you can get out of Sam Bennett early and see if there's some chemistry there. But he's a kid with a lot of talent, and he's a guy that wants to prove himself. He's got a lot to prove as a 4th overall pick. And you can say what you want. The playoff numbers are decent, but his regular season numbers have not been what he's expected and not what the Calgary Flames would have wanted out of him. So it's a motivated player that you bring in here, and he's motivated to prove that he can produce offensively in this league and that he can be a top six forward. And if he gets a chance here with the Panthers, then he's going to be on full display. Then it's up to him. Then it's on his shoulders. But the Panthers went out and traded for him, believing that he can produce, given that he gets some more ice time and is put in a top six role.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where Hughes slots him tonight. One of the other new guys that did get that same kind of opportunity last game was Nikita Gusev. This is kind of a wild card move for me. Getting him at a prorated $1 million deal is really no risk for the Panthers. But I mean, you've been there. You were there with me, seeing him in the KHL when this guy was really tearing the league up. He's not the flashiest of guys, but he just proven throughout his career that he can contribute. I was excited by the move just because, as I said, low risk, high reward. But I did want to get your take on it as well, as you've seen what he can offer in the KHL, but you also saw him over here in North America too.
Yeah, he's had some problems with the smaller rink. He did really well. There was an adjustment period with the Devils, and he had spots where he was where you can see the explosiveness and the type of game that he could bring and the offensive style that he has. He's got a flair to his game. So the adjustment to the smaller rink took a bit of time, but $1 million and a guy that can score goals and put up big numbers in the KHL, and it can translate over. Just look at Kaprizov in Minnesota, a big-time scorer in the KHL, comes over to Minnesota and totally changed that franchise. And Gusev is kind of in that Kaprizov kind of mold, has the same kind of offensive talents, and just got to get him into a place where he believes in his confidence and see if he can start to get some goals and lighten the weight on his shoulder. But it's a low-risk signing with the potential of a high return, and that's what you're looking for. Bill Zito, everything that he's touched has worked out so far. If you look back what the acquisitions that he made in the summer and what paid off in the summer, they all worked out. And if they work out at the trade deadline, then this helps this Panther team, and they do actually advance in the playoffs and maybe push for a Stanley Cup. Bill Zito has to be in the conversation for General Manager of the Year. I believe that he's had that kind of impact on this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think based on between the moves in the offseason and now we'll see how the trade deadline moves pan out. But certainly Bill Zito, everything he's done everything he's touched has turned to gold, it seems. And Joel Quenneville, you'd think he also has to be in the conversation for the Jack Adams Trophy as well. I mean, the Panthers were thought of as a fringe playoff team maybe heading into the year, and now they're in the possible President's Trophy conversation. And that's kind of the last thing I want to ask you about before I let you go. What do you feel as we head towards the playoffs that the expectation should be for this Panthers team? Because they're right there on the cusp. We just don't know if they're going to take that next step and if it's too much to ask. So as a guy that's seen them a lot this year, I wanted to get your take. What do you think the bar should be as our expectations heading into the playoffs?
The potential is to go there on a run. It's going to be tough. The division, if they don't win the division, you're going to get that 2-3 seed, and you're going to have to play Carolina or Tampa Bay. And then if you get through that round, then you're going to have to play the winner of the division, which is going to be Carolina or Tampa Bay. So if you don't win the division, you're going to have to go through Carolina and Tampa Bay, which are two of the best teams in the league. And it's funny how the playoffs shake out this year with the seedings. Some of the best playoff matchups are going to be in the first and second rounds. You're going to see Stanley Cup contenders all throughout playing in the first and second rounds. You're going to Vegas and Colorado are probably going to meet up in their division.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that could be a second round matchup. And those are two teams that could win the Stanley Cup. And same thing with Carolina, Tampa Bay, Florida. So those just getting out of your division. So the Panthers have the potential to beat both Carolina and Tampa Bay, but it's getting by and getting through your division. And then if you are able to do that, you get the semifinals, you get into that Final Four, then anyone has a chance. So once you get to the Final Four and you have confidence then you have a chance. We did it in 96. We got on a roll. We got hot at the right time. So that's what this Panther team has to do. When they play their best hockey, they're as good as anyone in the league. I firmly believe that. And they're deep. The new acquisitions, the goaltending has to be able to hold up. But I'm confident in this group and believe that they can push. And the big key for them probably would be just getting out of the first round and getting some confidence from that. If they get out of the first round, then this is a team that maybe starts to believe in themselves and goes on a run.
Well, we'll be watching and hoping for sure. But, Billy, I want to thank you for joining me this morning. I know you just got off a flight back to South Florida, so go home, kick up the feet, maybe wait a day before jumping back on the bike and take a little relaxation day for yourself. But thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We got a broadcast tonight. Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up from wearing that mask on the plane. You have it on your bridge of your nose all the time. It stuffs your nose up. But so I'm a little nasally, but I'll have it fixed. But I'll be at the rink tonight, called the game with Doug, and looking forward to it. So good to be back in South Florida, and I'll look forward to seeing you at the rink shortly.
I'll see you soon, my friend. But thanks again for joining the show. It's Bill Lindsay, Florida Panthers radio analyst. You can catch him tonight on the broadcast with Doug Plagans as well. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, get into the Chirp of the Week and into the Around the Pond segment as well. You can watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio, log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless, and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split second, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. the need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's David Dwork.
Onside Radio continues to grow. To make your life easy, you can now find your favorite sports station by downloading the radio.net app. Download the free app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host or catch a great Inter-Miami CF game. They're playing tomorrow, by the way. Go to your app store, download the radio.net, and search Onside Radio, the home for South Florida sports fans. I got a nice little fist bump there from Austin Roboart of Red Card Radio. He'll be on the air as soon as Chirping the Cats Radio wraps up, and he will be on with me next segment to do a little cross-tizzy in the hizzy. Don't do that. Yeah. Abel just said, don't do that.
Please, don't ever do that again.
Oh man, we got a great crew here at Onside Radio, man. We're gonna get to the Chirp of the Week in just a moment. I did want to talk a little bit. You heard me talking with Billy about it. Just the playoff chatters. We're getting really into this home stretch now. A series against Tampa or Carolina is really inevitable, right? If Florida is going to make a run, it is 100% that they're going to have to probably beat both of those teams. Do you see Nashville or Chicago or Dallas, I guess, whoever ends up that four? Do you see any of those teams beating a Florida or a Tampa or a Carolina? Because I don't. Not going to happen. So it's going to be a crazy first two rounds. Whether it's here, I mean, you heard Billy say it. You got out west, you've got the Colorado Vegas inevitability, or even in the East between the Islanders and the Capitals, who have been amazing. Pittsburgh's been coming on. And the Rangers are actually coming on strong in that division as well. That could be an interesting 1-4 matchup. So it's going to be fun to watch it all shake out. I'm excited for a potential interstate series that we've been waiting forever and ever and ever to see the Panthers and the Lightning play in the playoffs. And this is a year where I'm actually kind of pumped for it because I think Florida can take Tampa out. They just don't look like the team they have been. The scariest thing about Tampa, you heard me say it earlier in the show, is Andre Vasilevskiy. Yeah, he's scary, but he's not unbeatable. You get 50 or 60 shots, you're going to get a few goals. So is that the bar that the Panthers have to beat? I don't know. Now, why is Carolina so scary? Basically because they are the Panthers. Just a bit more consistently, a little better on special teams, perhaps. Florida's played them well 5-on-5, but not as evenly of a matchup as Tampa Bay. I think Carolina, when they hit the Nas, they can get a little bit higher speed there, and they're a little bit younger than Tampa, a little bit more skilled, I think, especially with Tampa not having the Kucherovs and the Stamkoses. So either way, the playoffs are going to be fun, and if Florida is going to make a run, they're sure shit going to have to earn it against a couple of really good teams. So yeah, that'll be good. Abel, can we do some chirping? Are we good? Yeah, let's do it, man.
Hey, son, you're a disappointment to your parents. What are you doing? Working on my trash talk.
It's time for the Chirp of the Week.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're gonna hear about it. You can pick the hand I beat the out of you with. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't think so. That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer. That's so funny. The last time I heard that, I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur.
All right, so the Chirp of the Week is at insect issues in South Florida, and it's the friggin' injury bug that keeps it won't leave. It's like nested in the BB&T Center. You thought Barkov got hurt, and then Hornquist got hurt. You're like, all right, well, you got to get through this, and then Duclair got hurt, and you just all right, well, you have to get through this, and now we find out a couple of days ago that Carter Verhaeghe, week to week with an upper body injury, hurt himself late in game against Dallas on Tuesday, I believe Coach Q said. So Verhaeghe week to week with an upper body injury, one of the most consistent Panthers players. Now the latest top line guy, essentially, because you've lost your Barkov for, 6 games? You lost your Hornquist for about the same. Duclair was out. Now Verhaeghe's out. Put some bubble wrap around Jonathan Huberdeau. Holy crap. And week to week, it's like, it's not day to day. Day to day, you could play tomorrow if you know. But week to week, it's like, Jesus. And to lose a guy like Verhaeghe, who, to his credit, his first year really in this kind of a role, he has been so consistent on every inch of the ice, whether it's in his own end, back checking, whether it's moving through the neutral zone. This guy has only 1 year, and it's fast. So you hope that, in the least, that he's ready when the playoffs roll around, which is in, I guess, about 3 to 4 weeks. I think the second week of May, around the the regular season keeps getting pushed back. Now that I think about it, with all the COVID issues out west, so yeah, I mean, you hate to put a positive spin on that, I guess, but it works out for the Panthers in terms of getting healthy. That's for sure. You do not want to enter a playoff series, whether it's against Tampa or against Carolina, or if Florida takes the division, whether it's against a Dallas or a Chicago or a Nashville. But yeah, I'm just, look, I get it. It's bitching about something that you have zero control over, but where else can I vent if not here during the Chirp of the Week segment? So yeah. Anyway. We keep getting into the division battle here, and I wanted to get into it with a little bit more in depth when we go around the pond in a moment. You can't just look at how many games are left. You got to look at who they're playing as well, how they've matched up, and all that good stuff. So, are we good to skate around the pond, Abel? He's so busy over there, man. This guy's he's got like 6 arms he needs today. He's been so busy. All right, go ahead, man. You can hit it.
Lace up your skates. It's time to go around the pond on Chirping the Cats Radio.
Like, seriously, I'm watching Abel dive around behind the board over there, and it reminds me of Dr. Octopus from the Spider-Man when he was, using his 6 arms to build some massive machine, but just kind of chill. That's Abel right now. He's doing a million things, but he's well under control. So, around the pond, still a 3-way battle for first in the Central Division. Carolina's got the leg up right now, is there in the top spot. They've got the most games left. They and Tampa are tied with 60 points. Carolina 14 games remaining. Tampa 13 games remaining. Florida right behind them. 12 games left, 59 points. Still anybody's game. Florida has 3 games left against Tampa and 2 against Carolina. Florida's got tonight against Tampa and then the last 2 games of the season, which you would think, the way that the division has been separated by 2-3 points or less, that those games are going to be rather significant. That's May 8th and 10th at the BB&T Center, so that'll be fun. So far, Florida is 2-2-1 against Tampa Bay. And then the 2 games left against Carolina are also in South Florida. So of the 5 games left against Tampa and Carolina, the only one that's on the road is today's game. Florida's just 1-3-2 so far against Carolina. I mean, look, we know how they've struggled against Carolina. It's a good team. And it's kind of like playing your doppelganger, your Bizarro Jerry. So it'll be fun to watch that battle play out, and it's also going to be really, really intriguing to see how the battle for that 4th spot shakes out as well between Nashville, Chicago, and Dallas. Right now, Nashville has been on fire. On March 13th, Nashville was 11-16-1. Okay, that's bleh. Since then, they're 13-4, one of the best records in the NHL. They've ridden some hot goaltending. They're getting timely scoring. You think of a Kalle Yarncroc. You think of a Colton Sissons. They host Florida on April 26th and 27th. Back-to-back games. Florida will be in Nashville. So you imagine that those should be some pretty a fun back-to-back, if nothing else. Nashville has 3 games left against Carolina, including tonight, and none. They're done with Tampa. Chicago and Dallas. Tough. Chicago's at 12 games left. 2 against Florida, 3 against Carolina, and 1 against Tampa. Dallas is the most games left with 14. 1 against Florida, 2 against Carolina, 3 against Tampa. I said last week that I thought Dallas was going to make some noise in this. We found out that Alex Radulov and Ben Bishop both are not going to be coming back this season over the past week. So Tyler Seguin should be back, but perhaps not as strong as they could have been. We'll see. It's been a weird year for Dallas, man. Weird, wild stuff. And All right, one cool thing that I did want to get into before we hit the last break here and get towards crosstalk is the War Memorial Project out in Fort Lauderdale is officially kicked off. The Panthers announced this week. A $65 million construction project that began this spring. I love this. I think it's great. It's only going to grow the game of hockey in South Florida, which is a good thing. It's going to bring the Panthers practice facility. It's state-of-the-art, closer to where most of the players live in Fort Lauderdale. Currently on track to debut next summer, 2022. Some details about it. You're going to have 2 ice services, a public rink. So, again, more opportunity for public skating, for hockey, figure skating, all that good stuff. It's also going to have a ballroom-style concert performance venue, like 3,800 seats. So maybe you get some shows, some Broadway-type plays. It's a huge project. They're revitalizing this historic building. Alex Dano, who hosts Man of the Match here at Onside Radio, he's been there countless times hosting fights that have been at the War Memorial. So it's already been a venue that's hosted a lot of events over the years. And as I said, just helping grow the game of hockey in South Florida. Those of us that play down here know that the options are limited. It's nice to get a few more on the board. You got Kendall, that's been around forever. You got Pines, that's been around forever. The little rink in Miami Beach, the Pompano rink by the beach. You got the rink in Boca that's being built coming soon as well. So the options are growing. Hockey, slowly but surely, is growing in South Florida. And it's great to see. So that's a project that you want to keep an eye on as we get closer to next summer's debut. I know I will be excited as well. We're going to hit the break now. On the other side, crosstalk with a very excited and well-dressed wearing, is that the Rosa Negra? Very nice. Austin Robards got the Inter Miami gear on, and we're going to hit him on the other side of the break. Hey, catch a South Florida staple every afternoon as Alex Dano hosts Man of the Match from 3 to 6 every afternoon. Dano covers everything from football to MMA. We talk hockey. So tune into one of the most complete sports shows in the country with Man of the Match with Alex Dano, 3 to 6 p.m. exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to Chirping the Cats Radio with David Work. Take Onside Radio, your home for soccer everywhere, with a MyTuner radio app. Find the app at OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. When you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org to learn more.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Miami Dolphins fans, join us for OnsideRadio.com's NFL Draft Party at Sports Grill in Miami, 11481 Southwest 40th Street, Bird Road. Join Big O and Alex Dano for this two-night event starting on Thursday, April 29th at 7:30 p.m. and Friday, day 2 at 6:30. Drink and food specials, giveaways, and the best damn draft party in South Florida. Join us for a two-night event as OnsideRadio.com and Sports Grill on Bird Road bring you the best NFL draft party on the planet.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
A message to help keep you safe.
If doctors told us today that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, saving thousands of lives, we would rejoice. Finally, a good news day. We'd feel less afraid that our loved ones would be struck by the invisible enemy. We'd start to feel hope that we could live our lives again. Well, a mask does all that. We can help protect others by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Masks are a ticket to freedom, to be out in the world, to getting together, back to work, back to doing what we want. If doctors announced we could save lives today, we would grab that breakthrough with both hands. While we wait for a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
These are unprecedented times. Challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
Welcome back to Chirping the Cats Radio. To reach out to David, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Florida Panthers insider David Dwork.
You can watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio, log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk. We weren't doing sports talk a moment ago as I bring Austin Robillard in for some crosstalk. We were talking about some Marvel, as I was shamefully admitting to Austin that I'm a huge Marvel fan, and you can kick me for this, but once my kid was born, I really fell off the wagon in terms of keeping up with the Marvel movies and the shows, and I've got some catching up to do. And I've actually not gotten past Infinity Wars, and that's one I need to watch. It's embarrassing because I'm a huge comic fan. I've collected them. I've got boxes of them in my house. And this conversation, Austin, is probably inspiring me to go watch one of these. Maybe tonight if I can stay up for it.
I am hoping so. You are in for a ride, and next week I want to hear all about it, man. I mean, if you haven't had any spoilers or anything,
no, I mean,
you've kept it to a minimum somehow.
I've read the comics, so
right.
I know how the comic book story, the Infinity War, ended up. But I mean, no, I like to keep myself pretty green.
You are going to be in for one hell of a ride, let me tell you.
Yeah, I recently did pick it back up. I watched Black Panther. I watched Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I made my way through those. I got to see how it all ends.
Well, Disney Plus, it's all there, my man.
Yeah, and I do have access to Disney Plus.
So I can't wait for next Saturday already. I want to know your thoughts.
All right, I've got a week to watch at least one movie.
At least one movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some sports talk. Look, I know we like when we talk football, we talk the big scope of it, but I feel like it's a little bit more focused right now because the MLS season has begun.
Yep.
As the building is buzzing around us, there's a game today, but there's a big game for us locally tomorrow. What are you excited most about as Inter Miami is about to kick off their season?
It's back. I mean, the last time I watched Inter Miami play football, we had our ass handed to us in Nashville.
Yeah.
I flew out there. I was with the supporters groups.
Wow.
And everything. And it sucked. Losing 3-0 like that, it was embarrassing. But also at the same time, our supporters group know how to get it done. And I think that's the thing I'm most excited for is our fans. They know how to have fun, support their club. They go crazy. And I'm excited for all of the fans coming on Sunday because it's going to be a great season, I think. It'll be better than it was last year. And these guys deserve some good football to cheer for.
Well, it's going to be fun. You got a new skipper on the bench running the show. You got a little bit of infusion of new players, but some familiar faces coming back that should be making a difference when you think of Higuain, you think of Lewis Morgan, you think of Pizarro, whom I love hearing my little kids say, Pizarro. But I mean, a guy that you and I really love is Lewis Morgan, and you were just telling me in the break that you think he could have an even better year this year than he had last year.
I think that he's going to be a lot more involved than he was last year, and I know that he was the MVP of the season last year, and it seemed like he was by far our best player. Everybody knows that, but this season, going into the next, I'm going to talk about it later on Red Card Radio, where I'm going to have 2 hours of just season preview.
Let's go.
Lewis Morgan is going to be more involved than he was last year, and that's crazy to say. He does not think that Diego Alonso got the best out of him. He said that specifically. If Phil Neville gets this man on the ball more times than he was last year, he's obviously going to produce better numbers, have more of an impact. And with the players around him, if they're coming together and the chemistry is better than it was last year and the tactics are more clear, Lewis Morgan's in for another worldie of a season.
Now that sounds exciting. Something, we're going to hit the break in a second, maybe not as positive, but somebody who I don't know if we're going to see more out of him or not this year, is Blaise Matuidi. Very exciting signing last year, a lot of fanfare, and really did not deliver on the pitch at all. Are we going to see the Blaise that we thought we were going to see when we signed him this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's a class player. We all know this. But, you know, it wasn't numbers-wise, it wasn't really what we wanted to see. He did make a little bit of an impact in the midfield, but he has more to offer. And I think with Grigore coming in, Pizarro in front, the midfield three, he won't have to be asked to do as much. I think the pressure was really on him this season, not so much with help behind him and going in front of him. That midfield three could be really strong. Matuidi won't be asked to do much. He could have more of an impact that way.
You heard it there from Austin Robillard. Red Card Radio coming up on the other side of the break. Definitely tune in. I'll be listening on my way home as I get ready for the Panthers Daily Zoom. Panthers Lightning tonight at 7 from Amalie Arena in Tampa. You can watch it on TV. You can hear Goldie on the call, or you can listen on the radio and hear Billy Lindsay and Doug Plagans. I want to thank everybody who listened today to Chirping the Cats Radio. I want to thank Abel, the producer, for pushing all the right buttons, and Tim, our producer in training as well. Thank you for all your hard work, fellas. We will be back next week with another edition of Chirping the Cats Radio. Until then, everybody, go Panthers, and as always, stay cool.
Listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List in the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
I'm 54, so basically, it's too late to start saving for retirement, right?
Not right. Starting to save, even in your 50s, can really make a difference.
Well, right now, saving seems hard to wrap my head around. Plus, with the way this year's been going...
Hey, listen, it's okay. You still got this. Just go to aceyourretirement.org. It's an online tool from AARP that can help you get your retirement savings on track no matter your age. It's free and only takes about 3 minutes.
I like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at aceyourretirement.org, you'll chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer a few questions and you'll get a personalized plan and tips to help boost your retirement savings. Tips that are easy to understand and tailored to your lifestyle.
I like that too.
Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Just head to aceyourretirement.org and make your plan to start saving for retirement.
Thanks.
That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
OnsideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count Suckers!
Here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Michael Christian.
Big changes may be coming for the Call of Duty League. On Monday's E-Report, Kai told you about how the Toronto Ultra won the Stage 2 Major this last weekend. Well now, league teams are hinting at a possible return to LAN. A LAN tournament is a gaming tournament that is done in person at a single venue. Current CDL matches are taking place online, which is sometimes leading to connectivity issues and potential advantages for teams located in cities with better internet speeds. Players, fans, and organizers would all likely prefer a return to LAN tournaments, and it should definitely help boost what is already a really fun CDL season. Get ready for even more intense gameplay and the return of Trash Talk.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E-Report. The card is out. The show is on. Soccer fans. Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard is on. To reach out to Austin, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. The text line is 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Lining up for that pressure kick, here's your host, Austin Robillard with Red Card Radio.
All right, and we are live for the Inter Miami CF season preview 2021 here on Red Card Radio. Man, oh man, we are, 28 hours away from kickoff against the Galaxy, a game that we were stripped of last year. I still have the flag, by the way, from last year that they gave out to season ticket holders that had the date and everything for the event. And I mean, it's hilarious. I edited the picture and everything. I posted on Twitter and having fun with it. We were stripped of this game last year. Our home opener was meant to be, I think it was March 14th it was set for last year, a week after the DC United game. And after the pandemic and everything, we never got a true home opener. And now we do. It feels like 2021 is like our rerun at an inaugural season. So many things have changed in the last couple of months since November, since that terrible loss to Nashville in the playoffs. I mean, after a really, really rough season, it just seemed like, there was... It seemed... I don't know where this club was headed, and I believe that in this moment right now, going into 2021, our ownership has made a lot of the right moves in order to get this club on track. From all the way down to the academy kids and getting into the MLS Next program and the Fort Lauderdale CF side, and then all the way up to the first team with Jason Kreese, Phil Neville on the coaching staff, of course, and some of the players we brought in. Chris Henderson, that signing in the front office was phenomenal. Bringing in a scouting director, a director of analytics, changing the entire scope of the franchise over the course of 5 months is not only unheard of, it's just it's insane. And I think a lot of these moves were the right moves. And I'll get into the player personnel later on. Like I said, this is going to be a season preview of everything. I'm going to talk about the Galaxy game. I'm going to talk about just the outlook on the season, highlight some of the players, how I think we'll finish, how some players could do, talk a bunch about Neville. But there's still some stuff that's wrapping up here this offseason. And I was holding off on writing my season preview for 5 Reasons Sports because of these couple of things that were announced yesterday. And I knew it was kind of stupid of me to think I should release a season preview before Friday when roster compliance was due, and we were the one club in MLS that was really having trouble with roster compliance. With the Matuidi investigation, and now the whole Pellegrini situation is just, it's unfortunate. And I know that the club is getting a ton of hate for everything. I mean, oh, we're so badly run. How could we do this or that? Look, like I just mentioned, these last 5 months, this franchise has gone under a complete overhaul. Completely. From the stadium sponsor to the front office, the coaching, a lot of the players. I think we had one of the most significant roster turnovers in MLS. Down to Fort Lauderdale CF, down to the academy guys. I mean, all over it's changed. And I am tired of people trying to go on and blame the club, which I get it. You can blame the club, but I need the people that were involved to be blamed as well. You can say, yep, Inter Miami, that was, I guess whatever you want to say. People are saying joke of a franchise, they're cheaters because we played with 4 DPs, or at least it's come out that we've played with 4 DPs last season, and I get it, but you have to understand the people that made those decisions last year are not here, okay? And one name in particular is a man that's now in Atlanta United. I don't understand how the entire investigation with Matuidi can go on, and then you can write off the sporting director of the club at the time, saying that he's not under investigation, when in reality he's making all the sporting decisions. Look, he's not here anymore, and that was one of the major downfalls of the club last season. You can put a lot of blame on McDonough, I think. You could put a lot of blame on Diego Alonso. 2020 overall as a year, I mean, across the globe, and it didn't stop at soccer, was quite the mess. And, there's nothing we can do about it now. We wait for the sanctions. We wait for what the league is going to tell us is the punishment. And we take it on the chin and we move on. Whether it's, a points deduction might be harsh, but whether it's a points deduction, whether it's a fine, whether it's losing allocation money, whether it's losing an international roster spot, whether it's losing maybe a DP slot, whether it's, I don't know. I'm not sure whether it's losing a U22 spot, which can't even use for Pellegrini. There are a lot of different scenarios in which Inter Miami get brutally punished here. And if any of those are the case, like I said, the club's got to take it on the chin and move on and do what you can. But for right now, I think that this roster is ready to compete. I do. When you look at the starting lineup quality, it is way better than it was last season. Phil Neville, the man in charge, I have a lot more. Look, I was high on Diego Alonso last year. And I know that sounds stupid, but I thought that, a man who was a proven winner in a league just south of us, in the CONCACAF Champions League as well, I thought that he could do this. I thought he was ready. And it started off rough because we didn't have the players. We had players coming in before Alonso was announced. And when you bring in a coach where you're already building a roster with your mindset that you have a different coach coming in, which in my entire belief, I don't have any true information to tell you that this is what happened. But in my belief, I really think that the